Hi, everybody. Jack and Brooke here again for another community office hour. So we have lots of questions this week. But Brooke, I have a big question for you, and I'm putting you on the spot. It's a leap year this year, which means we have an extra day this month. Have you got
Yeah.
anything special planned with your one free day this year in February?
Um, no, nothing planned. I'm actually going to a conference. So,
Okay. Is it a
yeah,
Jane conference?
it is. Yeah.
Where are you traveling to?
I'm heading to Minneapolis.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
So I
Okay.
leave I'll be there for the extra day.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
that's cool. A little
Yeah.
little visit to Minneapolis on your extra day. Okay, back to the question. This person is wondering how you would record a $0 EOB on the US insurance side of things. So I'll let you get started with the famous screen share
Yes.
and let you walk us through it.
Okay, perfect. So to record a $0 EOB, what you can do is head to the patient file that the EOB is for. And in their billing info, so I have here a claim, and maybe if you didn't put in their deductible or anything, or why it might be a $0 EOB, if it is still owing to the insurer, you can do this. But what you will do is select the arrow here, and then from here, select the record payment in detail from that insurer. If you do have a balance owing on there, the amount would default in here. So you can just remove the amount there, change it to 0. And then I can go ahead and record the EOB that was for this claim.
All right, next question, and this is on the other end of
Mm.
questions, is during a telehealth call, someone is wondering one, if they can screen share, and then if they are screen sharing, let's say a video with some instructions, let's say something from YouTube, how do they share the sound with that video they're screen sharing?
Yeah, so for this, I did go ahead and launch a telehealth session with a client. And so to screen share, so at the bottom here, I'm just going to go ahead and select this screen share button. And to share sound, we just have a toggle here on the option. So here would be kind of my tabs that are open. I'd be able to select what I want to share, and then I'll want to make sure before I select it, I toggle on. Actually, looks like it's probably defaulted to automatically toggle on here for you. And then we would hit share.
Perfect. Okay, so just don't miss out that toggle and you'll be good to go. All right, moving along, gift cards. Somebody is wondering how they can buy a gift card online, but specifically on a mobile device.
Great question. So, on a mobile device, the screen is a bit smaller. And so, if I go to our online booking site and on this main page, the buy a gift card here option is available. However, if we log in on a phone, the view that on a phone gives is only kind of this portion of the page. So, from the disciplines and the providers, and there's no option here to buy a gift card. If you scroll down to the bottom, there wouldn't be an option. So, one thing you can do is let patients know or put a message on that online message. We've talked about that a number of times. There's definitely different things that we can put on there. Uh, but if they go to the My Account, they will be able to purchase one from here.
The online booking banner that we've talked about before. I think it's one of our favorite features to call
I
out
I think
is
so.
right is you are going to go into your settings and then just on the left hand side there's language and then you're going to see online booking banner. That's our favorite area to shout
Yeah,
out for any sort of updates or notices
yeah,
or
yeah.
anything like that
So
you want to.
yeah, write a little message on there like gift cards. If you're on a phone, head to your My Account and scroll down, and they'll be able to find the purchase area there.
Awesome. Another one we like to call out is that Command P, which is great for making sure your screen is blurred if you have your desktop or your laptop facing into the room you're giving your session in. But something people forget is how to turn it back off. So first of all, what is this Shift P I'm talking about? Maybe you can show us, Brooke.
Yeah, so privacy mode. So when you hit shift and then P on your keyboard, all of the patient names blur out. So like Jack said, if you are maybe on a laptop, if it may be facing outwards and you want to hide, your patient information, patient names, we can go ahead and enable that. Now, sometimes also this happens by mistake. I know I've definitely spoken on the phone with somebody who's enabled this not knowing what it is, and how we disable it is the exact same way of how we enable it. So we just hit Shift P again, and those names are now readable.
Awesome. And there's a whole host of different shortcuts that you can use to navigate Jane a little bit more efficiently and quicker. So if you're looking to level up, yeah, your name in the top right corner and then keyboard shortcuts, you can learn these. All right. And our last few questions are about our reports and numbers, which is always one of those daunting topics, right? Especially with tax season coming around the corner, right? We want to make sure that all our numbers are right so we don't get in trouble. But like a lot of people in the community have called out, numbers don't seem to match depending on what report you're looking at in Jane. And what I'd like to maybe go over is why those numbers look different. And just so people know how to better understand where Jane is pulling these numbers or how Jane is collecting these specific numbers on these reports. So maybe we'll have a look at the billing summary report and the sales report and go over the differences you might see.
Yeah, so I've gone ahead here and pulled our summary report. Now, just one thing to note also with reports, if you're doing a year or you want to do a month at a time, you can always set a date range, staff member, different options depending on what report you're looking at. But I've just gone ahead and we're just looking at the summary report for today. And you'll see, and this is generally what Jack is referring to as numbers don't match here, our invoiced column versus the applied column here on this summary report. These are two different numbers, and it's very common that these do not match. The difference is the invoiced is any invoice that has been generated in this reporting period, whether it has been paid or not. So if it's unpaid, it's going to show up on this column. If it's paid, it's going to show up on this column. And then the applied is anytime payment has been applied to an invoice for in this period of time. These could be payments that were collected previously. So it could have been a credit on the account that's now been applied to an invoice from this period here. Summary report, I didn't mention this, is it's a combination of different reports all in one. It's a summary of multiple reports. One of them being is the sales report. So this invoice amount here at the top for the sales by location, we can look at specifically that by heading to the sales report itself. Just here on its own, I have all of my invoices, whether they're unpaid, paid, no charge, all of them will be here. You can filter this also by specific date range, staff member, discipline, location, so different options on how you are wanting to view that.
Awesome. And we do have a bunch of handy guides on the Jane website too that really goes deep into each
Mhm.
of these billing reports. So we'll pop a link when we post this for people to follow along with when they're
Yeah.
going through their own reports. All right. Our very last question, and it's also to do with numbers, is how do you change the fee for an invoice you've already created? So let's say someone's been in and they go a little bit longer, or something changes where they have to pay a little bit more than they were initially booked in for.
Yeah, I guess it might depend on the scenario. There might be a few ways on how you would like to manage this. You can add the cost of an invoice or add money to it by using an adjustment, and that can be done to either reduce the invoice amount or increase it. If you are wanting to increase it, the thing to note is when you set up the adjustment. So if I go to my settings here to adjustments, I'll just do let's just say a fee. Let's call it a fee. You'll want to, in the dollar discount, put a minus sign first. That means we're going to add $15 in this example here. So then whenever I do need to add an additional amount here, I can add this fee. You can use this for things like travel, anything like that. And when we are adding this, let's just find an appointment here. I can add this, and now the appointment's going to have an additional $15. You could also change the type of treatment. So if it was a different treatment, I can easily change what somebody is booked in for. If I haven't yet arrived it, I'll be able to edit the type of appointment and add maybe it's a different cost. Maybe they went for, a 60-minute versus a 30-minute. I can just change what type of appointment they were booked in for.
Perfect. And I guess on the workflow side of things, if you have checked them in but haven't taken any payments, could you unarrive it and do what you just showed me there, which is use that pencil icon to change the appointment type?
Absolutely. Yes. So any you can unarrive or and re-arrive it as much as you want here. And then one other option I'll just go over here as well is if I didn't use that adjustment one, let's say I go ahead and arrive this visit. If I click onto the invoice, I can manually change the amount myself here as well.
All right, Brooke, that is all the questions I have for this week. So we will be back next Friday, as we always are, to go through some more of your questions. So we look forward to reading them next week. Take care, everyone.